Hey guys, it's Torterrid, coach of the Terratorts, and we are back with Draft League. So I took about a couple months off, about 3 months off, to have a bit of a break, and we are now back with the Burnt Tower Draft League. And I'm in the Suicune division, and we're going to be doing some power rankings for each of the teams. So I've got gonna chuck all the teams in my dock, and then as we go on, we're gonna sort of tier list them and see which teams I like the most, which teams I don't. But it's all my opinion. I'm curious to see who agrees with me and who doesn't. So I might have some hot takes here and there. But yeah, first of all, we've got Finn Roan, the Brisbane Pyros. And looking at this team, I think this team is fine. I think it has like good offense and like Val Chiyu, very strong like offensive mons. Has some good defensive mons in Gliscor and Polion. It's got hazard removal with Cyclozar. It's got a fraud in Iron Boulder. I think this mon is dog shit in my opinion. But yeah, it's got biggest fraud in Draft League here. Then we got Terra, Vikavolt, and Hooper, which I think are both pretty solid Terras. I could see it being a bit redundant of like, oh, both your Terras are sort of just like strong, slow, strong, like special attack and wall breakers. So I could see a bit of overlap in that of like they're a little similar. But obviously you have different stab typings, Vikavolt can get webs up and pivot, has levitate. But I think there might be a little overlap with that I don't love. And then Vileplume, which can't Terra. But Vileplume I think is like a decent lower point mon. Gets effect, Spore, Strength, Sap. Could just kind of be annoying against like fighting types and physical attackers, as long as they can't ice nuke you or fight nuke you. Like also it's an extra fair resist, which is nice. I think Vileplume's fine. But looking at this team as a whole, I think it does have a few big weaknesses, and like ice does quite a lot. Ground hits quite a bit as well. Obviously, you have like the Gliscor Vikavolt, so it's not that bad, but like ground type with like a water move kind of hits everything, for example. I think like Fairy hits quite a lot because you have like you have two resistances. You have two weaknesses, but it's just very good to like spam neutrally. I don't know. I think this team is very just middle of the road for me. I think it has like some good offensive mons, a couple good like pivots, a dogshit mon and Iron Boulder, fine Terra captains, but I think there might be a little overlap of like I usually prefer to get maybe like a fast Terra captain, the bulky one, or like a physical or a special or something like that, just so I don't have as much overlap in my opinion. But overall, I think it's fine. Hazard setting, it gets rocks and spikes with Gliscor. Empoleon can you get rocks up as well, so Gliscor isn't locked into rocks. It's got some good options, I've used Empoleon twice in draft. That mon I think is kind of slept on. Vacuum Wave on it is actually hella nice for certain matchups, like against like Chien-Pao and Meowscarada, for example, or like Iron Bundle. It's just a very good surprise move to sort of just catch things off guard and clean up. But yeah, overall, I think this team is fine. I think for now I'm just gonna put this in the B tier. I'll see if I move stuff more. I don't really know if we need that many tiers. There we are. So yeah, I think I'm gonna put this B tier for now. I might change it. Depends how I feel on the next teams. So next we've got Wyatt. Team Burbs. Let's see what we got. Some reason doesn't like Hisuian mons, but we'll work with it. Looking at this team, just at a glance, I will say one thing I think's a little odd is immediately getting two dark types back to back. Like, don't get me wrong, like you can have two dark types, that's fine. But I think getting like two of your best mons both being dark types shares weaknesses quite a bit. Because, they're both going to be weak to, like Mach Punch, Close Combat, and like U-Turn, for example. I do like the Zapdos because that covers like those fighting bug weaknesses, and obviously U-Turn and a lot of fighting moves tend to be physical, so you get some static bullshit in there. I've used Zapdos, and it's a very solid mon. Sinistra at 7 points is crazy. If this one was like 10 points, I'd be like, that's fine. But it's 7. That is such a good bargain. I was looking at this one. I think Wyatt has managed to get the 2 best bargains in the draft, which is Hisuian Samurott and Sinister. Because Samurott at 14, lower than Metagross, is insane. And Sinister at 7 is wild. That mon should not be the same point as Brute Bonnet. That's crazy. But yeah, I think you got the 2 best bargains of the league. Ursaluna, cool mon. I've not really seen it do that well in draft. But I was kind of looking at maybe drafting this because I think it's kind of cool. So I'm interested to see what he does with Ursaluna. Because at one point I was thinking of getting both these mons. Little heat you can do is Sinister, Leaf Storm, a jetpack into Ursaluna, and then, you know, that activates Flame Orb and go crazy. You've got some cool tech options like that, which I like. Thorns, I've had Terra Thorns as like in a duo league. It didn't do great, mainly because we got crit one game, died, and then next we missed Stone Edge twice. But yeah, this mod's just kind of cursed to me. But I hope you have better luck with it. It can be also a good hazard setter, but I also go, why would you be like defensive Terra Thorns with hazards when you have just Samurott get hazards up pretty freely? Latias, great mon, you know, good speed. Even I kind of hate psychic types in general for how bad they are defensively, but as far as psychics go, Latios actually has good defensive value. You know, good resistance to fire, water, grass, electric. So great ground immune. Has a ton of utility. Can be like fast screens, healing wish, trick, calm mind, scarf specs. Yeah, this one's really flexible, really great. Hisuian Braviary, I've not really seen anyone draft this in any leagues I've been in, but with Terra, I think it could be interesting. You know, it gets Tinted Lens, gets Sheer Force, gets Esper Wing to raise its speed. I'm curious to see how this mon does. I don't really... I could see this mon being great. I could see it being terrible. I don't really know, to be honest. Fortress, you know, great hazard setter, gets Volt Switch. Part of me goes like, I don't see much point trying to get hazards up with Fortress, though, when you have Samurott. Like, why would you ever want to click spikes for this when you can Ceaseless Edge, do damage and do it? And then Swallow Flaky, I kind of don't like these picks. I would much rather just take these 2 2-pointers and just roll them into a 4-pointer, or even better. How many ones we got? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, so you can have 9 mons in this. I would just take these 4 points and just chuck it in one of these mons to make them even better. But yeah, I think these last 2 picks are kind of just a waste in my opinion. Like, yeah, Thwacky gives you grassy terrain as an option, but this team doesn't really benefit from grassy terrain. Like, you know, Thorns is quad weak to ground, and also it's just going to Terra anyway. Doesn't buff... I mean, you know, Zapdos and Latias don't get healed. I guess it buffs Sinister grass moves. But, yeah, I don't really see much point in these 2. Looking at the type chart, though, I think this team does have some kind of big weaknesses. Like, you know, Ghost does fairly decent. Obviously, you have Chempad to threaten Ghost, and I guess Samurott. No, Samurott would be there. No, Ghost is fine. Rock, though, is very good into this team. You know, you have, what, 1 Rock resist in Ursaluna, so, like, Stealth Rock's here, pretty good. Hazard removal-wise, I think it's just Fortress with Spin. Oh, no, Braviary, I think it's Defog, I'm pretty sure. So, you've got 2 hazard removal options. They're not the best for hazard removal, but you've got the option. Dragon hits a lot of this team neutrally. Dark hits a lot of this team. Obviously, Samurott would resist, but it would hit Braviary before Terra. Fire would be resisted by Samurott, but Fire's fine. Thwacky isn't a real mon. Ice, though, is the massive elephant in the room on this team. Like, yes, Samurott will resist, but also Braviary dies to it. So you got 3, 4, 5 ice weaknesses. And then, like, 3 resistances. Not end of the world, but I think that is quite a big weakness. But, yeah, I think this team is decent, but I don't think I'm in love with it. I think it just has, like, a couple of wasted points here. Sort of like Fortress feels a bit redundant because you're just going to get hazards up with Samurott. I don't love like 2 of your best mons both being weak to like close combat, U-turn, like sharing that those dart weaknesses. But I do like that the Zap covers them and can, get some paralysis. Pivot-wise, I mean, what? Samrock can flip turn, Zap, Volt. Latias can Baton Pass. Thorns can Volt. Yeah, it's got a fair amount of pivoting. Bravier, I'm pretty sure can U-turn. Fortress can Volt. Yeah, the pivoting on this team's fine. I think it's just I don't love the type chart. The speed tiers are fine. Yeah, again, it's got a gap there, but Champ Out is 135. What am I gonna say? Lower it to 120 to fill the gap. That's fine. But yeah, this team don't really vibe. Honestly, I might put this 1B and I'm gonna move Finro up one for now, and we'll see when I go back. Next, we've got Frobe, the Sydney Slow Kings. Let's have a look. So, looking at this team at a glance, fucking get out of it. Who put blood on the team? Looking at this team at a glance, I'm just gonna keep it real. I do not like this team. I think this team starts out pretty good, like Dragapult Core. Okay, you've got really good Dragon, really good Steel, so you're going for a Dragon Steel Fairy Core. And then Hatterene, I think, is kind of weak as the Fairy. I mean, it's a fine mon, but nothing crazy. But your Dragon Steel are great. Pokemon Heart Flame's great. This one has great offense, incredible offense, like Terra Staraptor, Terra Galv can also get webs up. Weavile, offensive threat, Oakapon offensive threat. Insane speed, 142. What? You've got only 4 of your mons are below 100 base speed. But that's kind of where the good things end, in my opinion. Because, first of all, this team is hella Stealth Rock weak. You have 1 rock-resistant Crocodile. And, I mean, you do have good removal in Corv, Defog. And, Staraptor can run Defog, but you just want to click Terra Flying Brave, let's be real. And, I mean, it does have Hatterene as the Magic Bounce option, so this does have a way to sort of help prevent rocks. But if rocks get up, it's going to do so much work. Another thing I don't love about this team, aside from the rocks weakness, I mean, Fairy is decent, nothing crazy. I mean, you have Corv as a really good resistant Oakapon, so Fairy's not the end of it. Fairy's nice. It's mainly just that rock resist is terrible. Fire and Ice are also pretty good into this. But it's less about the type chart and just more about this team of... I'm seeing all these fast frail mons, like, Oakapon, Staraptor, Weavile, Galvantula. Those are 4 mons that are insanely, fast frail offensive mons. And I don't see how the hell you switch them in safely other than Corv U-turn. I feel like Corv has to run U-turn Defog every game for this team. And if Corv goes down, I don't see how you get any of these mons in safely at all. Also, another thing is, this team into, a team that has, insanely strong priority, say, the Palafin team. Choice Band Jet Punch probably just... If you get rocks up, Choice Band Jet Punch probably just kills Galv, Weavile, Raptor, maybe even Oakapon. Just in one hit if you get rocks up, for example. So this team is made out of paper. Very fast offense, but made out of paper, but then they chucked 1 really good defensive mon on it. As for the rest of the team, it's okay. What's your Rockers Crook? I don't love that. I feel like this team doesn't really get Stealth Rock up easily because Crook's forced to run it if you want rocks. And Crook can do so many better things, I love, Scarf, for example. Scarf knockoff of Earthquake and Moxie. Suicune, fine, bulky Carmine, setup, sweeper. It's, nice, but I think I just prefer I feel like I just prefer a water that could flip turn into these nuke mons that you've got. This team can get webs up, but I feel like so much of this team is, so fast already. Do you really need webs? Pult doesn't need web. I mean, no. For Raptor, mainly. Yeah, for Terra Flying Brave Bird, that's fair. But, yeah, I don't like this team, to be honest. I think it's way too frail. It struggles way too much to get these mons in. And, its hazard... I feel like Corv's very locked to Defog U-turn. I just don't really like this team overall. And I think because of that, I'm going to have to shut this team in the bottom tier, I'm afraid. Next, oh, we got my team. Oh, prepare the glazing. So let's analyze the cook. So yeah, this is my team. Yeah, first pick Clefable is a bit odd, I will admit. Yeah, I could have got Balafon. Used that mon before. It went like 28 and 2. That mon is so broken. But I just wanted to use something different, I guess. So these are all mons I haven't really used before. Looking at look at speed tiers. Speed tiers pretty solid. Like I've not got a 120 mon, but like 119 is like close enough, you know. 119, 13, 500, 80. I mean, yeah. Speed tiers is just fine. Nothing great, nothing terrible. Speed tiers is just fine. Looking at the type chart, I think the main weakness for my team is like it's very ground weak. Like ground does really good into this team. Fighting is also pretty good. I mean, I do have a Clefable, so fighting isn't that bad. But yeah, mainly ground and also to a lesser extent fighting are both pretty good into me. Outside of that, type-wise, it's not too bad. Everything else is pretty fine. Like, I've only got one Ghost Resist, but it's T-Tar, so T-Tar's pretty good with a Speed F boost. Obviously, Focus Missile never hit it. But, yeah, I think type-wise, speed-wise, it's pretty fine. Nothing crazy. It's got 2 key weaknesses, but, you know, for ground types, I've got the Worm. But yeah, I think my team's fine. I think it's good. I think it's solid. I think one thing with the team is like it's kind of lacking that like one super broken mon because I kind of went for a strategy of I just wanted to see what happened if I just drafted a ton of like good mons, like 13 to 15 point mons, rather than just going on these like super high point mons and just see how that works. But I think this team is kind of missing that one like super broken mon. Like, you know, a Palafin, a Val, Chempao, something like that. But I think this team's pretty solid. I think this team doesn't have a bad mon, other than maybe Earthworm. Earthworm is kind of just a necessary evil for the type chart and like certain matchups. I've got Terra, Pawmot, and Earthworm. Yeah, those are pretty good. Terra, Pawmot. It's mainly been Terra banned a lot of leagues I've been in. This one with Terra sounds insane. You know, you go Terra Electric, Double Shock spam. You go Terra Fighting, Close Combat spam. Terra Fighting, like Iron Fist Mach Punch. I love the idea of Terra Fighting, Iron Fist Focus Punch. That sounds hilarious. But also this one gets, you know, a lot of coverage other than like its electric fight. You know, it gets Grass Knot for stuff like Torsk. It gets Ice Punch for stuff like Chomp. Outspeeds a lot of dragons like Chomp and High Dragon and that, which is very nice. Yeah, Terra Pawmot, crazy mon. And Earthworm with Terra. You know, Earthworm gives also, apart from being like an extra ground immune and being extra like fairy resistant that, it gives me option for spikes, because without Earthworm I wouldn't have any like spikes at all. So against teams with worse hazard control, it could be nice. Hazard setting wise, I've got some good rockers and like Drill, T-Tar, Clef. Hazard removal, I've got Extra Drill, Rapid Spin, which is pretty solid, as well as like Court Chain, Cinderace. So I've got a couple ways of hazard control, a couple ways of getting rocks up. Yeah, I think this team's fine. I mean, there's a little anti-synergy with D-Knight and Sand, because I could break my own multi-scale, which I don't love. But yeah, this team is very much like, oh, it's going fine here. Oh no, there's no steals. I guess I have to get Drill, and then it becomes a Sand team. But these are all mons I haven't used before, and I'm excited to try some of these mons. Like D-Knight seems pretty fun. Manaphy like never gets drafted when I see it. Serp seems pretty interesting. But yeah, I think it's pretty solid. Oh, another thing, I think my team is a little physical heavy. Like my main special attack is like Manaphy, Serperia, but you know, Manaphy kind of needs that Tail Glow, Serperia needs like a Leaf Storm booster to him. So I think it's kind of lacking like a special breaker. So I think that's like a fair weakness. But overall, I think this team is fairly solid. I'm gonna put my team in. I'm gonna say like A tier for now. I think it It has a clear type weakness in ground and fighting a little bit, and it lacks a special breaker. But other than that, I think it's fairly solid. Like type-wise, you know, it's pretty good, pretty good. Next we got White Spaniard. I will say I do like White Spaniard's initial team idea of these three, where it's like, yeah, I'm just gonna get Molar and then two of the like most disgusting bulky attackers possible. I do like that. I think that's quite funny. But yeah, these top three are a pretty good, pretty big threat. Yeah, I like this top three a lot. This top three is very solid. Yeah, it's got Claude, Zarude. Claude, you know, gives you unaware, water absorbs, nice. Zarude, I actually quite like Zarude here because Zarude baits U-turns, and oh, this is a nice synergy actually. I'm liking this. I didn't realize this at first. Zarude baits in U-turns, and then you switch an Archaldon, get defense boost, or switch in an Iolape and get a Rage Fist boost. That's pretty cool. I like that. Terracaps, is it? Armourouge? Yeah, Armourouge and Trapinch. I will say I don't love that. I mean, don't get me wrong, Trapinch is funny. I hope it gets some kills. That'd be quite humorous. But I don't love that as a actual team. Galarian Moltres, it's a fine mon. You know, solid special attacker. Doesn't have Roost, which I really don't like because I was looking at it. Not having Roost really sucks. But you know, it can U-turn. It could be like a defensive if you're scared of mons like Spectria, like, you know, Ghosts. It can be the agility nasty plot with Berserk set. Yeah, Moltres fine. Trapinch, funny. Hope it puts in work. Don't think it's good at all. Heatran, solid mon. Charger Bug, why? I don't know what Charger Bug does. And then Cresselia's like bit passive. I mean, I guess it gives you like a good Trick Room option. Maybe like Trick Room into Archaldon, but I don't really see it. Like, Cresselia's fine. It's like good defensive mon. I guess it does bait in U-turns for these two again. So maybe that's sort of the idea. And I guess also for like Flame Body Heatran. So I do like that this team has like 2 mons that are kind of weak to U-turn, and then like 3 mons that kind of punish it, as well as like if Molar's running Helmet. But yeah, I don't know. I like a good bit of this team. I think it just kind of falls apart with like just get rid of Charger Bug, Trapinch, change some point values so you get a second decent Terra Captain. Because basically only having one good Terra Captain, I think, makes this team lose quite a bit of sort of favour for me. Looking at it type-wise, Ground does really good here. Like ground Bug hits everything. The 2 mons that are weak to are ground immune or resist are just weak to Bug. So if you have a mon with Earthquake U-turn, that'll go kind of crazy here. Ghost hits quite a bit here. Dark hits quite a lot here. You know, your only Ghost and Dark resist is Zarude. Water's fine, nothing crazy. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think this team would be higher for me if it just had like a second actual Terra Captain. I think just only having the one Terra Captain really lowers this for me. I do really love like the anti-U-turn synergy, but what hazard-wise, as what Ape, Arch, Claude, has good rockers, a lot of good rockers. I think Claude gets spikes. Yeah, Claude gets spikes and T-spikes, which is pretty solid. Hazard removal. What do you? I don't think you have any hazard removal. Yeah, no hazard removal. That kind of sucks, to be honest. I mean, the team isn't super rocks weak at all. Like, you only have 2 rock weaknesses, 3 small tres. Yeah, no hazard removal kind of is like a big thing as well. I don't love. Oh, also the speed tiers. Oh, the more I'm looking at this team, the more I'm not loving it. The speed tiers on this team are awful. Fastest 105. You have 1 mon that's above 100 speed. I mean, don't get me wrong, it has good bulk, but like every mon that's like 120 or above is just going to be able to run a boost in nature. Or you could just say, oh, you know, I'm not respecting Zarude and just run a boost in nature on anything that's like, what, base 105, something like that. Oh yeah, the more I'm looking at it, the more it's. I like parts of it, but I feel like it just has some big weaknesses I don't love. But yeah, like I like this team at the start. I like this initial three. I like the U-turns into bait U-turns into boost these. But like no hazard removal, only one actual Terra Cap, and like this speed is terrible. I think I'm gonna have to. Which one was this? Goopy Gastrodons. That's a cool name. I think because of that, I'm gonna have to put this in the bottom tier. Like just the speed and hazard removal is just like, and the one Terra Cap, effectively, is just like too much for me. I think. Plus, like ground bug is just hits everything. Ghost hits everything. Yeah. I don't love this team. Next, we've got Roizer, the Grandiose Gengars. Looking at this team, just at a glance, it's what, Terra, Jolteon, and Rhyperior. Those are both really good Terra Captains, and that's like the opposite of what I was saying about the Vikavolt Hooper, where like there's a lot of overlap. Here, these fill completely different roles, which I really like. So you've got, you know, fast special attacker that's going to run like Terra Ice, Terra Water, and just hit everything super effectively with Bolt Beam. And then you've got a Terra Cap that's going to run like, you know, Terra Fairy, Terra Water, and it's just going to be a bulky Fatmon. So I really like both these Terra Caps. They're both individually good, and I love how they both fill like completely different roles. Why is Cress here? Get out of her. Hazard removal wise, you've got great spinners, you've got Tusk, and then you've got Tentacruel, so you're not forced to spin on either one. So solid hazard control. These are all quite a lot of just solid mons, I think. You know, you got Tusk, Torn, Rotom, Tinkaton. I don't love. I had my mate have it in a duo league we were in, and I thought this mon was always underpriced. I was like, 9 points, that seems cheap. And after seeing it, I'm like, it's just so meh. Like, I don't know, its typing is good, and it has good moves. You know, it has Knockoff, Stealth Rock, T-Wave, but it's kind of just all it does. It feels very passive. It does have, I do like the pickpocket tech of like, you know, you lose your item or consume it, and then you can steal an item's cool. But I used to like this mon more, but after sort of seeing it a lot, and I feel like everyone I've seen use this mon is like, yeah, it's kind of meh. But again, you know, it's nice typing. Moon, I've used Moon. I think Moon's great. I think booster set's kind of overrated. I think you just run like Band, Scarf, AV, stuff like that. I think is solid. Tentacruel, it's fine. You know, good secondary spinner. Bulky water gives you ground poison. Although you don't really need a ground poisoner. You've got so many levitating mons. Yeah, I've taught Terra Cap's both great. Mesperit's kind of whatever. Another ground immune, pivot, it's fine. And then Sableye, I mean, Sableye, I don't think it gets screens, but I mean, it gives you like Pranks of T-Wave and Will-O-Wisp, so it could be like for a low point I'm on, it's fine. Like, I don't think it's going to come that much, but you know, it might Will-O-Wisp a big threat that's sweeping, or it might T-Wave something, so that's fine. Looking at the type chart, this team is pretty solid. I mean, like, ground is very hit or miss on this team, but I think it's a lot more miss than hit because two of these ground weaknesses are Rhyperior that has solid rock and is a Terra Cap, and Jolteon that's a Terra Cap. So these are kind of fake weaknesses. So yeah, ground is actually, I think, kind of bad into this team because you have like Tusk, Terra Rhyperior, Torn, Rotom, Mesprit. That's like, ground is not that great, I think. I mean, water I think hits quite a bit, but then you do have Moon Crawl. I mean, you only have one Ghost Resist and Moon. Dragon hits quite a lot, like Dragon type with like Earthquake, which is quite common. So it's just Dragon, like, you know, Garchomp D-Knight with Earthquake hits everything. But honestly, that's not that bad. Like, I think I like this team quite a bit, to be honest. This might be my favorite team so far. Like, I don't love Tink. I think Tink is kind of meh, but I mean, it can do some supporting stuff. I don't really have much of an opinion on Mesprit. Speed tier wise, this team's speed is pretty fine. You got 100, 119, 120, 130. Like, I mean, I guess it's missing a speed tier from like 100 to 119 is a bit of a gap. So like, mons that like 115 that are gonna run like adamant or modest. So tiny speed gap, but nothing that bad. Um, yeah, this team's fine. Like, gets hazards up with what are your stealth rockers? Yeah, you got 4 stealth rockers. You got a lot of T-wave on this team. Decent pivots and like U-turn, regening, fault switch, rotom, moon gets U-turn, tentacle. Yeah, you got a lot of pivot in there. Yeah, I like this team. I like this team a lot actually. This is gonna be our first S tier, I think. I think this team's very solid. I don't really see like one clear weakness. Like ground looks good on type chart, kind of, but then you look and like it's not really. I guess literally the only like big weaknesses I can say is like Ghost is pretty solid. Dragon type with Earthquake does good. Small speed gap, but like that's been like super nitpicky. Yeah, this team's great. I like this team a lot. Next, we've got my week 1 opponent, Pasty. So let's have a look. Oh, why is it not like Tornadus? Is it just not like any other form? I hate this duck. Yeah, fuck this type chart because this is not accurate. But actually, I have this in my actual prep doc that doesn't look as nice. There we are. Looking at his team, fighting does a lot of work here. I think fighting is insane. Yeah, fighting just hits a lot. Like, this used to be Scizor and changed to Dirge, which I think is probably better for him. But it means if he hadn't took Scizor, I wouldn't have got Drill and gone all sand. But, I mean, hey, whatever. We live with it. Yeah, fighting's great here. I love Dark here. 1 Dark Resist in Tinglu. Granted, it's a good Dark Resist, but, Dark type with fighting move or Dark type with U-turn, especially, does really good here. Water is fairly solid. It's good into like Tinglu Dirge, so it's good into like a lot of your defensive core. Like Water Ground into this defensive core of like Glow King, Dirge, Tinglu kind of zone is pretty good. Terra Caps are Avalugg, Hisui, and Torn, which are fine. Torn's good if it hits, bad if it misses. It'll do good in 70% of games, and it will die in 30% of them. I think Rock is also really good here. I was gonna say the first recorded game where Iron Boulder looks good, but yeah, you have Palafin. Palafin is great mon. This mon is broken as hell. Palafin, Glowking, Curin are all like good, but I think this team has quite a lot of weaknesses in terms like fighting goes crazy, Rock goes crazy, Dark has 1 resist. Dragon is also fairly good as well. Like Dragon type with Earthquake hits everything. 1 Ghost resist as well. Ghost is also really good. Ground. How did I not notice this? Ground hits everything but Torn. Oh, I mean, I know Avalugg with like Terra is basically a ground resist and like Tinglu's bulky, but like, oh yeah, I do not like that ground weakness either. This team has quite a lot of weaknesses. Like Rock, Ground, Fighting, Dragon, Dark, all do really good into this. Speed tier wise, we've got. Oh, you can't see them. I guess we'll go back here. Speed tier wise, it's all falling apart. Right, we'll go in here. I mean, it's got okay speed. It's got Palafin. It's got Torn at 111. Can I move this? There we are. Yeah, speed tier wise, I mean it's okay, but not great. Like your fastest mon's 111. It's got great priority in Palafin. I think this team against that this team against Frove's team, I think would be a massacre because Jet Punch kind of just kills all these Freomons, for example. Like Palafin is so broken. Um, yeah, I think this team just has way too many type weaknesses, and its speed ain't great. Hazards, it gets hazards up with Tinglu, but it doesn't have a spin blocker, which I don't love. Oh no, it has Dirge actually. Yeah, it has Dirge to spin block. No, that's fine. So yeah, it gets hazards up with Tinglu. Its hazard removal is what? Is it just Avalug or Rapid Spin? I think it is. Yeah, I don't love this team. I think its hazard removal is kind of meh. I think its speed's kind of meh. I think its typing is not great at all. Like, so it shares so many common weaknesses and has so little resistances type-wise that I think I might place this one in the C tier. We'll put it here because it has a form of hazard removal, and Palafin is kind of broken, so Palafin could just carry. Fix OPS. There we are. Next we have Arsenal. Yo, is that fellow British? I'm guessing by the team name. Yeah, we got Gerg and Arsenal. Looking at this team, off a glance, I think Stealth Rock into this team looks really solid. Because hits Gouging, hits Enamorous. Your Spinner's Blastoise, which is like, yeah, it can spin, but it's, you know, it's not a great Tusk, it's not a Shreds, it's just kind of, It's a mon that's going to come in, it's going to rapid spin, flip turn, it'll come a second time and then probably die. Is, like, my prediction. But yeah, I don't love the hazard control. But Gouge of Fire and Amorous, both solid mons. I don't love that they share Stealth Rock weakness. I think this is probably up there for like one of the best Dragon Fairy Steel cores in the draft. Like, Gouging and Amorous Crown is really solid. It's just that Stealth Rock weakness with these two I don't love. And also like Gouging being shown an Earthquake weakness with Crown ain't great. But yeah, it's got what? Sneasler. Sneasler's solid mon, gives great speed. I don't love that you have to get have to get hit with Arbeliever to get terrain up. Because grassy terrain, if this was a Rillaboom, this would be so much better. Like, you could have on Burn Sneasel more consistently. Gouging getting healed more consistently. Crown in terrain sounds good. What a Terra? I think Terra, Arbeliever, and... Is it Umbreon? Yeah, Terra Umbreon. Okay. I think Terra Umbreon's cool. I've used Umbreon before without Terra, and it was crazy. So I think this one with like, I think this one used some really lame like Terra Poison Toxic Stall, and it's really good. Terra Believer's fine. You know, it has Harvest, had Seed Sower, Strength Sap. Like you can be like Terra Fire with Seed Sower. So you, for example, yeah, I think that's fine. Sunny Shocks gives a bit more speed, can get hazards up, which is nice. I think Gligar and Mischievous are just kind of whatever. You know what this team could really use? This team could really use an Orthworm. This guy's been begging me for the Orthworm. But, yeah, if we have a look at the type... How many ones we got? 3, 6, 9, 10. Yeah, I think you just kind of get rid of these two and just kind of put on like a higher point mon. I'm not a big fan of sort of getting a lot of meh mons, even though that's kind of what I've done for my draft. But anyway, looking at the type chart, ground and ice are pretty good. Oh, ground is really good actually. Your two ground immunes are your no, Gligar, I ain't gonna lump you in Mischievous. You're crappy, not fully evolved, and you're good, not fully evolved. I'm gonna do you like that, Gligar. Why the music gone? There we are. But yeah, I think ground goes insane into this team. I mean, no, Enamorous is immune, but even then, ground is pretty good into this team. Ground as well as like, well, ground rock I think hits everything. Ice is also really good into this team. You've got 2 ice resists and then like an Amorous Weak to Ice. Yeah, ground ice does pretty good. But I swear ground ice does good into every team in this drought. Like, how has no one got Mamoswine? But yeah, speed tier wise, I don't think the speed's great, but it's not horrible. Like, you got Sneasel at 120 is nice, and then Sandy Shocks at 101. But, like, that's a bit of a gap where, like, mons that, like, 115 to 119 can run, like, Booster Natures, for example. That is literally, like, a very small pool. But I think I just don't love how it's, like, only 2 mons are above 100 speed. Isn't great. So the rest of the team is a lot slower. What else? Dragon hits quite a lot. Obviously, Enamorous is immune, so you've got 2 Dragon switch-ins. That's fine, actually. Fairy does really good here, though. You have 1 Fairy weak and 1 Fairy resist, so, like, strong mon like Val just specs Moonblast and just doesn't really care. Yeah, I don't know what to think on this team. What's this hazard like? Stealth Rock wise, you mainly just have like hazards. You have Sandy Shocks or Gligar to get hazards up, and then you have Blastoise Spin to get them down. So hazard wise, I don't think it's great. I mean, Sandy Shocks is a decent hazard setter, but also, you know, sometimes you just want to be vaulting and earth powering. Gligar's fine. I don't know what to think of this. I think this team is very just okay. I think it has some clear weaknesses. I think it's hazard control ain't great, especially when like 2 of your best mons in gouging and Enamorous are Stealth Rock weak. But I think these first 3 are pretty strong mons. Sneasler is nice. I think Umbreon's Terra Cap is pretty decent. It's great Wish Passer. Umbreon's great. It's passing Wishes into like gouging and Iron Crown sounds really good. But yeah, I think this team is just fine. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. I think I'm gonna put this team. B tier. I think this team is fine. Next we have Manny, my boy. Time to cook his ass. Nah. Looking at Manny's team, these unknown question marks are pissing me off, man. Looking at Manny's team, well, looking at a glance, this is like what gets webs up, and then you've got insane breakers like Urshifu Physical and Golden Go special breakers. So I like that synergy, and I like obviously Golden Go keeps hazards up, so well keeps webs up, as well as Golden Go with Glamour is kind of evil. You know, you get T spikes and rocks up or spike. Yeah, Glamour gets normal spike. But I like how Glim isn't forced to spike. Like, you could run spike on Ogerpon. You, like, predict a switch, something like that. Also, Ogerpon with Defiant as well is quite nice here, again, for, like, keeping the webs up if someone wants to defog. So I think this team, if it gets webs up, is pretty good at keeping the webs up, or at least punishing you if you try and get rid of them. Yeah, I think this team, type-wise, we'll have a look. I mean, Rocks... No, Rock isn't that crazy. Delibird's not a real mon. That mon isn't common. Urshifu resists Rock. I mean, Rock's fine. Ghost. I mean, you have 2 normals. I think there's a lot of types that do, like, good into this team, but nothing that does, like, insane. Like, you know, you got 2 Dart weaknesses, but, you know, one of them's a Terra Cap, and then you also have Urshifu here, so you have 2 Dart resists. I like how Urshifu is quad weak to Fairy, and then you don't have a single other Fairy weakness. I like that. Got 2 Ghost resists, but you got 2 Ghost immunes, and Urshifu resists. Fine. Yeah, nothing is like jumping out at me as like, oh, this is super weak. I guess the biggest thing I could see doing good into this team, type-wise, is like Electric Mon with like Terra Ice, which granted does good into pretty much every team. But like, you know, Electromon with Terra Ice to hit Ogerpon and Blood Moon. But yeah, I think this team is pretty solid. I can't pick out a single like type that just destroys it. Speed-wise, I think it could be a little better. Mainly because like Ambipon's your fastest mon, and obviously lower point mon, not the best, so a lot of the time you won't bring Ambipom. So a lot of the time your fast mon's going to be like 110 or 115. So it's kind of missing that sort of 120 speed tier or above. Terracap wise, Araquan and Delphox I think are both pretty solid. Again, I like how like Araquan is like specially bulky Terracap that also does like insane damage with physical like Terra Water. I really want to see him bring like Terra Water Choice Band Liquidation. That sounds hilarious to me. I think that does, I think like 2 shots max defense curve off the top of my head, which is hilarious. And then Delphox, like faster special attacking Terracap, can like Carmine boost or just like Specs Flamethrower. Primarina, great defensive mon, really solid overall. You know, can flip turn, can Carmine sweep. Blood Moon, this mon has no switch-ins. Yeah, I like this team. Like hazard removal wise, it has Glim for Mortal Spin, so it has a good hazard remover. Obviously it has good hazards, getting, you know, Sticky Web, get Stealth Rock up, T-Spike and Spike with Glim. I think this team is pretty solid. Pivot wise, it's got like, it's got Flip Turn, U-Turn. I guess it doesn't have that many pivots, but I mean, I think that's just going to come to how he pilots it. I think if he pilots this well, he'll do really well. But I think he might. I think maybe the lack of pivots might make it a little tough, but that might just be me because I love pivot moves. Yeah, I like this team a lot. I'm gonna chuck this in A tier. I'm putting this above mine. I think that's pretty good. Yeah, let's go on to the next one, which is Enjoy 18 BC. The Palo Alto Paragons. That reminds me, I need to put my team details in. Let's have a look. So, looking at this team at a glance, as a #1 Galissapod fan, oh, I wish Galissapod was legal. First impression would go crazy. I really hope the Trapinch guy fights this so he can trap Meow and first impression it. That'd be so funny. But, and Latias. Well, Latias. Looking at his team at a glance, speed-wise, it's pretty decent. You know, you got Meow at 123, Latias at 110. But after that, the speed kind of falls off hard. Like, after that, your fastest mons are like 80 and 85. So, I mean, it's got 2 really fast mons, but outside that, the rest of the team is pretty slow. I don't like these 2 at all, these fake-ass waters. My ass would take these 6 points and just invest in like a half-decent mon, rather than 2 ass mons. I mean, Cramorant can put in some work if you like a weird indoor Custap Berry set or something like that. But most of the time, these 2 mons are either not going to come or they're going to come and do nothing, in my opinion. Yeah, Gambit, I mean, it gives you a nice Sucker Punch priority, but I feel like you don't really need the second, like, strong physical attacking Dark type when you've already got Meow. I feel like that's a little redundant. Galarian Weezing for Fairy gives you, like, Grounded Poison or, like, obviously Levitate. I think Terracap's a Gallade and Blissey. Gallade, I like as a Terracap. You know, it gets a lot of different coverage. You can Sharpness boost. This mon just really good, like, physical Wall Breaker. Also gets some weird utility moves, like, I'm pretty sure it gets Will-O-Wisp and, like, Teleport and, like, weird stuff. Like, most time you're probably just going to be SD or Choice Band or Scarf and just click move. But I like how it has some weird niche options. Garg, Blissey. I don't love that these 2 both share fighting weakness along with Gambit. I mean, we'll get to the type chart in a sec. Lando. Yeah, Lando. Oh, yeah, Lando's 101 speed. Okay, yeah, the speed's a bit better than I thought. I don't know why this doc doesn't like the different forms, but looking at the type chart, fighting does really good into her. I mean, I guess Blissey can Terra, but Blissey Terra, I'm very interested to see what he does, because, like, I go, like, Blissey doesn't need Terra to be any special attacker. So is it for like physical attackers? Like, I guess you can Terra Ghost on a fighting type, which is pretty cool. But then I feel like knockoff would probably do a billion. But I don't know. I have no experience with Terra Blissey. It could be great, it could be terrible. I do not know at all. But my guess is it's going to be kind of whatever, because I think you don't need Terra against any special attackers. And if it's physical attackers, you're probably not going to want Blissey anyway. Or like, the only thing I can see is like Terra Ghost to immune a fighting move, which is nice. But other than that, I think, I don't know, it's a weird Terra. I like that these two are both like status immune, I guess. But because Natural Cure and Salt. But yeah, the fighting goes crazy in this team, as well as like Bug into these two. Like if you used to have like a fast mon that gets like fighting move U-turn, it'd put in a lot of work here, I think. What else is pretty good? Electric. Now you have Landorus, that's fine. Bolt Beam hits everything on here again, which does for most teams, to be fair. Oh, Fairy. Oh, 3 Fairy weaknesses and no resist. That's really bad. 1 Dragon resist, 1 Dragon weakness. Dragon hits everything, pretty much, because you used to have Earthquake or like a fighting move and you blow Gambit up. Yeah, Bug hits everything except Cram and Lando. Yeah, this team has quite a lot of defensive holds the more I'm looking at it. Like, fighting's really good. I mean, Lando would resist, but like, yeah, fighting type with like a Bug move goes crazy. Fairy hits everything. Dragon with like a fighting move to nuke Gambit or like a ground move. Yeah, I don't love this team type-wise at all, I think. I think it has quite a lot of overlapping with just, that Fairy especially. I feel like so many Fairy mons who's going to run Specs Moon. I mean, I guess you have Blissey as like, oh, they can't just run Specs Moonblast, but I don't know, no Fairy resist is just a big red flag when, you know, 2 of your top mons are Fairy weak. Pivot-wise, what have we got? Like, Meow can U-turn, you can flip turn. Lando can U-turn, Samu can flip turn. I don't know, I could see this team sort of struggling to get Meow and Latios in, because like you don't have, you know, I mean Latios can obviously switch in on like Earthquakes and whatnot, has some decent resistances. Latios a bit easy to get in than Meow, but like, you don't really have like a slow pivot to kind of get these in. Garg and Blissey just don't give you any momentum, they just sit there, which I don't love. Yeah, I feel like you could struggle to get these like big threats in. I don't love this overlapping typing. I think there's quite a lot of defensive holds here, and I don't love the fake waters. Stealth Rock, you got 3 rockers, that's fine. Spike, your early Spike's Meow, which is fine, whatever, not every team needs Spike. What's your hazard removal? Galarian Weezing Defog? Yeah. Oh wait, yeah, I guess Weezing resists Fairy. But obviously if it's Specs Moonblast, Weezing is probably not going to eat that, because it's not Fizz Def. I guess Weezing is a fight and resist as well. I don't think Weezing's enough to sort of patch up these holes though. I guess Weezing does immune ground with Levitate. I don't think Weezing is the Lich Pin that's going to keep this team together though. I think there's quite a bit I don't like. Yeah, I think I'm gonna... Where do I want to chuck this team? I think I'm going to chuck this. Do I like it more than the Boston Celebes? Yes, I do. It's gonna go in C tier. B tier. Next we've got Daniel K, and oh, bro has got the best mono draft. My boy, Tarappa Goat. Let's have a look at the team. So we got Terra, Envor, and Quag. So when I look at this team from here to here, I love these 2 mons. These are great. I was gonna try and get Ratchet this draft on 4, but love these 2. Then I see these 2 and I'm like, why is these 3rd and 4th pick? This is strange. And then we get some more offensive mons. Emboar's Terracap sounds pretty solid. You get like what, Reckless, Terror, and then like what, Flare Blitz, Head Smash, Wild Charge. It gets some good coverage. I think Emboar's Terracap's pretty decent. Nothing crazy, but like not bad, not bad. Terra Quag I think's a bit weird. I don't love it. I could see it sort of being an option as like, oh, I just be like Terra Fairy unaware, and it stops me getting swept by like D-Dance Dragons, for example. I think the part I don't love this team though is up to like here with Quag, where I'd probably want to swap out Quag for a better Terra Cap, and then like I think you've just got too many mons that are just kind of ass. Like Rabska, what is this mon gonna do? Spiritomb, I like using Spiritomb in low tiers. You know, it's fun being like a ghost that's not weak to knockoff and can just Will-O-Wisp fighting types. But in draft, I just don't think it's that good. I think I would much rather just have less mons and higher point mons. I think he's sort of like spread himself a bit thin. But it does have Terrapagos, which is my favourite draft mon. First one I ever drafted, and this one has been kill leader for me twice. This one is crazy. Yeah, looking at the type chart, also, oh, finally, a team with no other form, so it all loads correctly. Looking at it type-wise, Rock and Ghost. Ghost is really good here. Obviously, you do have Terrapagoat, but other than Terrapagoat, Ghost hits everything. Rock is really good. I like Stealth Rock here. Obviously, you have good hazard removal on Terrapagoat, but yeah, Ghost pretty good offensively. Rock's pretty solid. What else? Flying. You have like 2 resists, 2 weaknesses, nothing crazy. I mean, the type chart for this team doesn't look too bad, to be honest. I mean, the type chart's fine. Like, you've got a couple weaknesses like Ghost and Rock, but nothing that's like ruining. Speed-wise, this team is pretty solid. You got like 136, 23, like these speed tiers are very nice. And then you got 99. Oh, I don't love this massive gap here. You got like what, a 44 gap in speed. So like anyone's like around like 80s, like what, Lando, Excadrill, stuff like that. Like Haxorus. I don't know, Haxorus hasn't been drafted, but like anything that's like 80s or 90s is gonna be able to run like a boost in nature, which I don't love. So I think that is quite bad. Oh wait, no, Terrapagos is baby form here. That's 85 speed. Yeah, no, that fills in that speed tier fine. That's completely fine, actually. Electros, 50, 45, and then you got some slow-ass fuckers here. Hazards-wise, you get rocks up for, like, what, Rachi. Terrapagos, you're not getting rocks up. You're just going to Calm Mind Sweep or Meteor Beam Sweep. That's all this mon does, and it does it incredibly well. So yeah, you're going to get rocks up with Rachi or maybe Quag. You get spikes up with Quag or maybe Cornerstone. Hazard removal. Yeah, you've got Spin and Terrapagos and what? Defog on Noivern. So as good hazard removal, Terrapagos is a good spinner. Yeah, I don't know. The speed tiers are pretty good. The type chart's pretty good. I feel like I want to hate this team more. I just don't. I don't love like. I think if these 4 were replaced with like make Quag a better Terra Cap and just put these into like one good point mon, I think this would be S tier. But I think because I don't love these, it's gonna go down a little. I don't know. I mean, Bundle's solid mon. That's like if you hit Hydro Pump's great. Not a mon for me, but you know, if it hits, it'll put in work. It's not too much overlap. Yeah, I want to put this team lower than I'm going to, but I think this is quite clearly a A-tier team. So I'll put this about. I don't like it more than Manny's. Do I like it more than mine? Ooh, am I biased? Yeah, fuck it. I'll be biased. No, I think this team might be better than mine, to be honest. It doesn't have as big of like a clear weakness. But just because I don't like these last 4, it's going there. Still, like, solid team, though. Like, that's so many, like, what, 8, 16, 21. That's 25 points spent on what I think is just kind of useless mons. If those were put into good mons, this team would probably be, like, S tier, like, top of S tier for me. Muffin Man. Let's have a look. Looking at his team at a glance, Spectre's big threat. You've got Baxcalibur Slowking, how original, but you know, it's solid. Donphan, good spinner. Skarm, good defensive mod. Skarm at 10, I thought was a pretty good bargain. Not as good as a bargain of why the hell is Muck 1 point? This is stupid. Muck being 1 point is ridiculous. That one is easily like 5. Caldio, Florges, Flygon, Mag. Get out of here, Rabska. What are you doing? Yeah, oh, at a glance, this team looks pretty fine. I don't notice anything off the top of my head. Terra, Flygon, and Magneton. Terra Flygon's cool. Terra Magneton's interesting. I'll get to that. Looking at the type chart, Ghost does really well here. Like, you have no Ghost resist, which kind of sucks. Florges kind of a Ghost resist because its speed F so high, but like no actual Ghost resist isn't great. I mean, I guess Muck can also eat them as well, but Muck ain't that great. I don't think it's going to come that often. So I think Ghost is pretty good here. Other than that, type-wise, it's not too bad. Earthquake hits a lot neutral, I guess, but like, you know, you have Levitate, or you have Skarm, and also like, you know, Donphan's pretty bulky. But Earthquake's good, but nothing spectacular. It's mainly that Ghost resist. Dark hits a lot neutral, but you got 2 good resists. Yeah, type-wise, I think this is pretty good. Pretty good type-wise. Yeah, it's literally just like Ghost, and even then you have like, you have Florges and Muck, which are especially bulky. So it's not end of the world. Terracamp-wise, I think Flygon and Flygon I think is cool. I think it's very flexible. Gets, you know, I think one thing, I was looking at Flygon a little. One thing I could see is like, I like that Flygon could do a lot of different stuff. I know it doesn't have Roost, which really sucks. Part of me goes like, why would I use D-Dance Flygon when I could be D-Dance Bax? But I guess for like certain matchups, being able to Terra might be, you know, pretty nice. But it can do a lot, you know, gets first impression, U-turn, gets, you know, could be like, I think it gets Boom Burst. Could be like Terra Normal. Does it? Let me check that. Does Flygon get Boom Burst? Do you get Boom Burst, or am I capping? You do, yeah. You could be Terra Normal Boom Burst. That's pretty cool. Or, like, you know, Terra Steel. I think it's, I don't think Flygon is a spectacular Terra Cap at one thing, but I think it can do a lot of different things well. I think it's like a good all-rounder Terra Cap. Magneton I think's interesting. I was like, when I was looking at this team, part of me was like, I don't love Magneton because it just traps stuff like Corv and Skarm, and you already have Skarm, so you're not going to trap that. But I don't really have much experience with it with Terra. Like, I guess I could see it sort of like, you know, Scarf, Terra Ground, trap and kill a Heatran or something like that. I think it's interesting. I don't really have any experience with it at all. You know, if it kills the mons in one hit that it wants to trap, great. If not, it'll be bad. But I think it'll be decent. I think it'll be decent. I think I do like the synergy of like, oh, he can magnet pull something like a, you know, a Bronzong, like sort of like a Bronzong or a Corv that's like a ground that's a steel that's immune to ground, and then once he's trapped and killed, that Bax can get rid of it. Bit of the Gen 5 Drag Mag combo coming out. But yeah, Spectre, insane threat, specially wise, physical wise, you got Bax, obviously Hail, Slowking, it's fine. Speed tier wise, we've got decent speed. I don't love these speed tiers. I mean, you got 130, quite a bit of a gap until 1.8, and then 100. So you got 3 monsters at like 100 and above. Then you got a bit of a speed gap here, so like monster at like 120-ish can sort of run boosting natures, but nothing that's like catastrophic. Yeah, the rest of the speed is pretty fine. Hazard removal wise, you got what? Donphan, Rapid Spin. I think that's it. But, I mean, Donphan's, like, you know, it's a solid spinner. There's nothing wrong with that. So Donphan are kind of forced to spin, but, like, you know, it's a good spinner. Can't really fault that. Pivot-wise, you know, Slowking just gets stuff in for free. Keldeo can flip turn. Floor just can Wish Pass. Wish Pass it into backs sound and Donphan to get, like... Wish Pass it into Donphan and Skarm to get steady back sounds fun. Yeah, I think this team is pretty good. I want to nitpick this team more from all the hating he was doing on our div, but I can't lie. I think this team is probably going in S tier, to be honest. Yeah, this team is pretty good. Like, Ghost is pretty good, but he has some specially bulky mons, small speed tip, like very nitpicky. But I think this team's pretty solid. Next we got also nice. That's all I'm gonna say. Next we got the Rattata Society. Ooh, let's have a look at this. So the terraces, is it Cinchino? It's not, it's Shaman Girder. Alright, first thing I'll say at a glance, Terra Girder over Cinchino is whack to me. I think Terra Cinchino sounds way better than Terra Girder. But, looking at this, I like these first three a lot. These first three are really solid, just strong mons. Gren, Chomp, Metagross, pretty good core. Terra Shaman's interesting. I think one thing that's really crazy is that, like Terra Shaman's a fine pick here, but I find it crazy that, like, Terra Shaman and Terra Diancie got drafted, and Terra Meloetta didn't, because I've used that one. That one is crazy. Have we been to the Diancie team yet? Did I skip over Terra Diancie? No way. Oh, no, yeah, it's down there. Okay. I was like, no way I skipped over Terra Diancie. That one's dumb. But, anyway, looking at this team, you know, Gren, Chomp, pretty solid. Metagross, pretty solid. I think Metagross is a little overpriced, 15, but, you know, it's a good mon. Terra Shaman's cool. You know, it can be, like, Seed Flare spam, gets Earth Power. It could be, like, bulky with Leech Seed, which I like. Natural Cure's great ability, so it could be a status absorber. Moltres, Flame Body's nice. Can U-turn, be a nice pivot. I think Shaman gets Baton Pass as well, so you could be, like, bulky, like, Baton Pass, Leech Seed spam, be annoying. Cinchino, I like this mon. Gives a bit of hazard control with Tidy Up, and, you know, Skill Link with coverage moves is great. I'd love it a lot more if it was Terracat, but, you know, it's a good mon. Sylveon, great Wish Passer, great Fairy, gets Hyper Voice. Wish Passing into, like, you know, Chomp, Metagross, Shaman's pretty good. Thundy gives you... I like how you have Thundy and Chomp. They're both, well, no, never mind, I'm capping. I was going to say ground electric immune, but that's Lando. But, yeah, being ground and electric immune's nice. Quillfish, I'm not a Quillfish fan at all. I think it's fine, it's just not a mon for me at all. And I think Girder is kind of a weird pick. I'd much rather... I've said this to a few teams already that have chosen, like, lower point mons. I'd much rather take Girder's points, chuck it into Quillfish, change Quillfish into, like... I'm pretty sure Overquill's around, right? I don't think Overquill's been drafted. Like, I just put Girder's points into Quillfish to make Overquill. And then you could make Cinchino a Terracat. But, looking at it type-wise, this is interesting. It's actually... Psychic actually hits quite a lot this team neutrally. I mean, saying that, you have Gren, Metagross, so, like, a quarter... If you bring them every week, you know, a third of your team will be Psychic, Resist, or Immune. Fairies, nothing special. I mean, it's got into his top two, but nothing crazy. Type-wise, this team's pretty solid, to be honest. Like, it has a lot of, like, neutralities. Like, Psychic hits a lot neutral. Only one normal resist, so, like, into, like, maybe, like, Terrapagoat matchup, it could be a bit rough. Ice has pretty good ice resist for Chomp, with, like, Metagross, Gren. Yeah, I think type-wise, this team's pretty good. It has, like... a few types that hit quite a lot neutral, but not, like, one overwhelming weakness. So I think type-wise, this is really, really solid. Speed tier-wise, it is also very good. You got 122, 15, 102, 101, 100. I don't love that these three are all, like, super close in speed tier, because then it's like, oh, you just EV to outspeed Champion, outspeed all these three, but so a bit crowded speed tier, but that's fine. What am I gonna, you're gonna be running defensive Shaman sometimes anyway, or bulky or whatever. Moltres, you got 90, 85, 70, 60, 40. Yeah, I think speed tier wise this is fine. I think this team would maybe be S tier if Gerda was put into Quillfish to make Overquill, and the big thing is this team's hazard control is awful. That is the only like big criticism I have of this team. Is when you've got really good hazard weak mons like Moltres and Thunder. I feel like these are gonna be obviously Moltres is kind of boots locked most of the time anyway, but you're gonna be even more boots locked with them than normal, and like if it gets knock off, it's kind of ruined. Because your early hazard removal is Terra Gerdo with Defog and Cinccino Tidy Up, and that's it. So yeah, the hazard removal is awful. Hazard setting it's pretty good. It's actually quite good. Chomp can get hazards up, Metagross can stealth rock, Ren can spike. Who else? I think Shaman can. Shaman not get stealth rock? That's Selby I'm thinking of. Yeah, Shaman can't. But yeah, hazards wise, it gets hazards up great. Its hazard control is awful. Pivots, has Moltres as a good pivot. Thundy can Volt Switch. Sylveon can Baton Pass. Yeah, pivots, it's fine. Shaman, I think, can Baton Pass. Yeah, it can. I think if this team had... I think if Gerda and Overquill were... I think if these last two were swapped around for something better and, like, Cinccino was made a Terra Cap and it has better hazard control, it would be S tier. But I think because it... Type-wise, it's still good, speed-wise, but it's just that hazard control and these I don't love. I think I'm going to put it in, like, A. I'm going to put it... Do I be biased again? Ooh. Nah, you know what? I won't be biased this time. I'll have a look at this at the end. Maybe swap it around a little. We've got Cruise next. Hashtag blessed. Let's see what we got. First of all, Pikachu 1-pointer. Quite funny. I like Pikachu's 1-pointer. Look at this team though. At a glance, I don't love it, to be honest. I see like Rillaboom with Moth, and I go like, I see these first four, and I go like, what does Grassy Terrain do for this team at all? Because like, obviously, it provides healing to like Moth and Arcanine and Quack, and I guess Screamtail, which is nice. And, it weakens ground moves for Clef and, well, Earthquake for Clef and Moth, but Moth's quad weak to ground and has 60 defense, so it's going to die to an Earthquake regardless. And then it's like, with some of your best mons, like Hydreigon Landorus, you're not going to get the Grassy Terrain heal, so he's going to be healing your opponent. It's going to weaken Lando's Earthquakes. I think Lando gets high horsepower? Let me check that. Does Lando get high horsepower? If not, then that's really bad. It doesn't? Oh, I hate that, actually. Yeah, you're weakening your own Lando's Earthquakes. Yeah, I actually hate that. Grassy Terrain with Landorus, I do not like this at all. You're healing your opponent and you're weakening your own Earthquake. Also, it doesn't heal Cryogonal because it's Levitate. I mean, it's nice for Klefki, give Screamtail some healing. I can see Paraspam being pretty annoying, which is Screamtail and Klefki spamming T-Wave. It has quite a lot of pivoting, like, what? I think all 1, 2, 3, 4 of these mons get U-turn? Yeah. Yeah, all these mons get U-turn. Oh, Quack gets U-turn as well, but I mean, it's going to flip turn. Yeah, so all 5 of these can pivot, which I really like. What are Terra Caps? Arcanine. It is Arcanine Cryogonal. Yeah, I think that's fine. Cryogonal, I like how there's not much overlap there. Cryogonal, Special Wall, Hazard Remover. Arcanine, you can run like Intimidate, Bulky with Terror and like Will-O-Wisp, or you can be like offensive, like Flare Blitz, Wild Charge, Close Combat, stuff like that. I think it's very similar to Flygon, where it doesn't do one thing great, but it does like a lot of different stuff well, which I like. Oh, I also like that you could be like, Terror, Steel, Flash Fire, or just like Intimidate. It's pretty nice. Looking at the type chart, Ground is very hit or miss into this team. I mean, saying that, no, Ground looks good on paper into this team, but then you go like Pikachu's not coming most of the time. Klefki can, before you Earthquake it, get up a Prankster Reflect. Arcanine's going to Terra, and then it's just Moth. So yeah, ground isn't actually that good. Rock's pretty decent into this team. Nothing crazy, but like Stealth Rock gets quite a bit of work. Rest of the type-wise, it's not too bad. I mean, you only have one Ghost Resist and one Ghost Weakness, so Ghost is really spammable here. Like Ghost type with like a Dazzling Gleam, just kind of to nuke Hydreigon or like a Focus Blast or something. Dragon hits a lot neutrally, but you know you got two resistance, well, two immunes, which is nice. But like Dragon does hit quite a bit neutrally, but nothing insane. Yeah, rest of it type-wise is just kind of fine. Nothing that jumps out at me, but nothing crazy. I think this team would be better with, like, if it had a better steel than Klefki to sort of, like, take advantage of that grassy terrain more. Or if it had, like, an Unburden mon to sort of take advantage of that. I just feel like Rillaboom just does not make sense on this team when it's, like, actively harming Lando. And then, like, not helping a lot of the other team. Speed tier-wise, I don't love this team. You know, it's 111 Screamtail, 110, 105. So, like, your fastest mon's 111. So, mons that are, like, above 120-ish can probably run Booster Natures. I don't know what number off the top of my head. It might have to be, like, 126, 125, something like that. Or at least, you know, have a bit extra bulk. So, I don't love the speed. This team has some okay priority in, like, you know, as, Grassy Glide, and then Prankster T-Wave for, like, stopping offensive sweepers, which is nice. I will say, a lot of this team, although the speed on this team is weird, I feel like it's lacking a super fast mon, but also its slowest mon is 75. This is so weird. The speed is so crowded. Like, if you have a mon that's slower than, I mean, Klefki's speed doesn't really matter, 'cause Prankster, so, like, 85. Like, if you, yeah, the speed's weird on this. So you don't have any slow mons, but like none of your mons are super fast either. So I don't love this speed at all. I do like it pivot wise. Pivot wise, great pivots. Hazard wise, you have 3 rockers: Hydreigon, Lando, Screamtail, all fine at rockers. Great at spamming T-Wave. Great pivots. As Klefki, if you want Spikes option, I could see like Klefki get up screens for like Quack sweeping or something like that. I don't know. I just really don't like the synergy here. I don't. Let me think. I really don't like this synergy at all. The speed. I think I'm gonna chuck this at the. Or is it top of C? Or bottom of B? I don't know. I'm going to put it top of C because I really hate the anti-synergy. It might be beta, but just because I really hate this harming Lando, I'm going to put it there. Next, we have got Yappo. Let's have a look at him. So, looking at Yappo's team, at a glance, you've got some pretty solid mons here. We got what? Terra Porygon and Terra Dancy. I think I like both these Terra Caps. I think this might be up here for like best Terra Caps in the division. Porygon's the insane special breaker. You know, it could be like adaptability with like, you know, Terra Electric or Ghost for just spamming a better move. Or it could be like Terra Normal and be like download. If you get a special tap boost, you just go nuclear. Darkrai, I don't love Darkrai. I think this one's kind of a fraud, to be honest, but that's just my opinion. If he makes it work, great, but I don't like this one. Treads, you know, great spinner. Yeah, one of the best spinners. Ogerpon, really good offensive mon. Yeah, Porygon, great wall breaker. Petrun, insane mon. I feel like every draft I've seen Petrun, every draft I've been in, it's gone up a point because it's just so good. You just spam chain and parting shot. But yeah, Petrun I think is really, really good and really annoying. Spam's Malignant Chain, Parting Shot. This one is so good. This one is stupid. This one's really stupid. It's like you don't even need defense investment. You just go max health spit F every week and it'll put in work. Glaring Zapdos, cool mon. Mon I want to draft this mon at some point. I think it's really cool. Yeah, spams Brave Bird, close combat. Dancy with Terror is crazy. I think I'm like similar to what I said to Arcanine and Flygon, where like it does a lot of different stuff, but I think Dancy does it even better because it just has such good stats. Like, you know, you can just run like Terra Fairy, Specs Moonblast. You can run, you know, Terra Water, Get Up, Stealth Rock and Spikes. You can be Iron Defense, Body Press, Calm Mind. Like, it just does so much different stuff. You can use like Baton Pass to be a pivot. I really like this as Terra Cap. I think it's really solid. Raging Bolt gives a nice bit of priority for the team. You know, that Thunderclap. Could be like Calm Mind, Setup, Sweeper, good AV Mon, Volt Switch Pivot. It's good. I like Leavanny here for inclusion of webs. Especially because you have like Petrunt as like a spin blocker. And then Galarian Zapdos, which can take advantage of webs. Along with having Defiance, so if you try and defog in front of it, it gets that attack boost and then potentially wins. And then Frogadier is one pointer. I mean, I guess, does Frogadier get T-Spike? Yeah, I'm assuming that's why, because it gives you a T-Spike option. Which, yeah, as one pointer, that's fine. You can run T-Spike. Looking at his team, I think Yappo, I think you already know what I'm going to say, is the ice resists are non-existent. Yeah, no ice resists around here at all. That's quite bad. Especially considering, for the schedule, his first 3 weeks are against the Baxcalibur team, the Chien-Pao team, and I think the Kyurem team. So, if Bro goes 0-3, that's not on him. That's just kind of the matchups. But I'm rooting for him. But yeah, Ice goes insanely well here. Fighting is also pretty solid. I mean, Galarian Zapdos would resist. So, obviously you have Petrunt as well. So, fighting isn't that crazy. And I guess Porygon's probably going to be terroring a lot. So, I mean, fighting's good, but nothing insane. U-turns pretty nice here into like Darkrai Ogerpon. I think first impression looks pretty good into this team. Hits Darkrai and Ogerpon. Yeah, Ground does really well here as well. Obviously Dancy can Terra, but like into like Runt, Treads, and Raging Bolt. Ground is pretty good. It's a good thing Mamoswine wasn't drafted, because this is another team Mamoswine would destroy. But yeah, I think I like a lot of these mons, but this type chart, especially just mainly the ground weakness ain't great, but especially just the ice goes crazy as a big looking at these speed tiers, speed's pretty solid. I like these speed tiers. You got Darkrai 125, 110 Ogre, 106, Zaps 100, and then like, you know, a few 90s, 80s, 75, and 50. I mean, the speed tiers on this team are fine. Like, I like these speed tiers. Getting hazards up, you've got Dancy and Treads can be rockers, and Dancy, Ogerpon, and I guess Frogadier can get up spikes, and Frogadier has T-Spike. Leavanny gets webs up, which is nice. This is an example of like a lower point one that I think is actually worth, because, you know, it gives you the option of webs instead of just like a mid mon that eats a hit and then dies. But hazard removal wise, you've got Treads, you know. That's your only form of hazard removal, but it is like one of the best spinners in Gen 9, so yeah, good hazard removal. Yeah, I don't know where to put this team. I like this team and these mons, but it's just like, oh, if it just had like a bulky water to resist like ice, or like one more ground resist. If it just had something for that, I think I would put it higher. But I think the fact that it's just so bad into ice and ground, I think I'm gonna put this at. What was Wyatt's team? Is that the one with like Armory's Trapinch? I'd probably put it above that. I might be blind. Oh, he was down there. Oh no, it's Chempao team. I will probably put Yapos. I'm gonna put him in the middle of B tier, I think. Like high to mid B tier. Just cause I'm gonna move my one down slightly. I'm gonna take out that bias. But yeah, I think it has a lot of mons and I like it, but I think just the fact it's so ice and ground weak, it's rough into the first 3 weeks for a reason, you know. But I do like a lot of these mons. I love these Terracaps, you know, great pivots, good offensive mons. I also don't like Darkrai though, to be fair. I'm just a Darkrai hater. Yeah, I'm comfortable with that. Next we've got the last team, yeah, DJ. And this team, let's have a look. So, look at this team at a glance. What are the Terracaps? Toedscruel, Houndstone. Look at this team at a glance. I don't really like it. I think this team just doesn't make much sense to me. Because you've got Ribombee for webs, but then you've not got anything that needs or even wants webs. Like you'll get webs up with Ribombee. You have a spin blocker with Houndstone. Nothing for like defog or whatever, it's fine. But like, what does webs do here? Like, you don't need webs when you have Deoxys speed and speed boost Blaziken. I don't see the point in Ribombee at all. This team is incredibly bulky. Like, if you took out Blaziken, Deoxys, this is just kind of a stall team. Like, Rotom, Toads, Mandibles, Registeel, Houndstone, Goodra. Like, this team is very bulky. And, like, it has... What's its speed like? I mean, obviously it has Deoxys speed, Ribombee's fast, Grafai's 110, Toedscruel 100. For being such a bulky team, the speed tiers on it are pretty fine. Like, nothing jumps out at me. I will say I don't love... This might just be a personal preference. I don't love having tons of mons around the same speed tier. I guess Blaziken doesn't really matter though, because speed boost. But, yeah, the speed tiers on this team are fine, which is surprising for how bulky it is. But also, I've already said this a few times for a few other teams. I just don't like that getting so many mons that are kind of meh when you can just put those points together. I'd much rather have one really good mon. Like, I'd rather have a Rotom Wash than like a Goodra and a Piloswine, for example. You know what I mean? Oh, Piloswine's out. Piloswine's out of the picture. Hi, Piloswine. Anyway, if we look at the type chart, looking at this, Fire does pretty good. Flying's pretty nice. What your fire is this? I mean, yeah, you got Rotom Wash and Blaziken's resist fire. Fire's not crazy, but like it's nice. Fairy is fine. Yeah, you've got Registeel and Grafai. You got 2 weaknesses, 2 resistances, but Fairy looks okay here. I like how Rotom Wash is weak to grass, and you really have a ground weakness, like Piloswine. But I don't know. The type chart for this team is mostly alright. You know, it's a bit flying weak, bit fire weak, but you know, nothing game like team ruining. Rocks into this team is fine. You've got 2 weaknesses, 2 resistances. You've got pretty good hazard removal in like Toedscruel, Rapid Spin, and Mandibles Defog. Like that's the thing. Like the typing on this team is pretty okay. The speed tier's okay. The hazard removal's good. Getting hazards up is decent. You've got Spikes, Deoxys, and Toedscruel, and you've got Stealth Rock on like Reggie, Pylo, and Deoxys. I think for this team, my main problem is this team is just so passive. Like, I'm looking at this team and I go, you don't have a physical or special Wall Breaker. You just have like, You know, Blaziken, set up sweeper. It's gonna sword stance, try and sweep. Rotomosh, defensive mon. Deoxys, you know, insanely fast, but doesn't hit that hard. And then it's just like bulky mon, bulky mon, bulky mon, bulky mon, bulky mon. Like web setter for nothing to take advantage of webs. I just think this team is a bit weird, and I don't really get the game idea for it, like the game plan. Like nothing takes advantage of webs, and then you don't. Like webs is good if you have something that's, you know, a bit slower but takes advantage of it. You know, a Staraptor with Terraflying Brave Bird, a Garchomp spamming, you know, Choice Band or something like that. Something that's, you know, a bit slower but hits really hard, and it seems really lacking that. Even if it didn't have webs, it just doesn't have a sort of wall breaker. Like, it's just so passive. Like Mandibles, Registeel, Toedscruel, Houndstone, Goodra just all do so little damage. Like, what's your highest offense? It's Blaziken with 120 attack. After that, like, after Blaziken 120 attack, your highest offensive stat is tied with Goodra's at 110, and Goodra isn't known for being an offensively great mon. So like, this team just doesn't hit hard at all, which I don't love. It's got decent pivoting and like what Rotom-Wash, Volt, Mandibles U-turn, Grafaiai can U-turn, I guess Rabombi can, but mainly those two are going to be pivoting a lot. So the pivots on it are fine. Like it's you know, got a good defensive core, but it's just so passive. I don't like how passive it is at all. I think it's going to struggle to break through certain defensive cores. I think I'm going to put this in C. Oh, where have I just chucked that? That's DJ. I'm going to put this in like. I think I'm going to put it down here. Do I want to move anything around? I've got 2 in S, 5 in A, 4 in B, 3 in C. What was Cruiser's team? I might move. No, I don't like that synergy. Yeah, I think this is my list. Yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. But yeah, I think this list is fairly solid. I think I'm gonna have. I probably have some hot takes in there somewhere. I know. I was watching the power rankings last night, and I disagree with a few teams here and there. But yeah, let me know if I'm gas me up by how right I am, or curse me out with how wrong I am in the comments. And yeah, I'll see you guys in a bit. Let's have a good draft league. Peace.